Author Bram Stoker wrote the famous novel Dracula in 1897. It tells the tale of Count Dracula, a vampire who hunts down and kills people in the dead of night. While the villain in the novel was a creature of Stoker's own creation, many believe that it was partly inspired by the terrifying ruler of Wallachia, now part of present-day Romania, Vlad the Impaler. During his brutal rule, Vlad III killed up to 60,000 people and impaled over 20,000 more, earning him the terrifying moniker of which we all very much know. According to legend, he would even eat with his impaled opponents and dip his bread in their blood. And while stories and the legend of the real Dracula have certainly been embellished over the centuries, the true history of Vlad is far more terrifying than a work of fiction could ever be. Hello, ghoul friends and spook daddies. Welcome to this week's episode of Horror House. It's Dom.
And Amy.
And as always, we are so very glad that you're here with us today. You're amazing. You're awesome. You're beautiful. Don't forget that. And your support, as always, means the world to us. Amy, how are you doing today, my lovely?
I am tip-top, although I do need to make like a disclaimer, and it's probably the weird, well, actually it's me, so it's not going to be that weird, but it's a pretty weird disclaimer. I made the mistake of putting on, before recording, a pair of leather trousers. Now, nothing wrong with leather trousers, you know, generally, day to day. However, I fidget a lot, and they're going to make some weird fart noises, and I want the listeners to know that it's not me, it's just my trousers.
It's just the trousers.
No, I swear to God, like, I'm going to have to show you that I'm wearing leather trousers. Hang on, look. See? I'm not lying. That's the chair. It's all gone wrong. But it's 100% the trousers and not my ass. I just want to make that completely clear prior. I'm now going to have to sit really still so it doesn't happen.
But
you know, like that episode of Friends? Yeah.
Yeah, I was literally about to say it. Yeah.
Exactly.
You're going to have to put talcum powder all over your legs
yeah.
to get your trousers on.
To be fair, they were easy to get on, so I'm hoping they'll be easy to get off. The problem is, like, I mean, I've got some thigh. There's a considerable thigh there, and they do occasionally touch each other, so it's making like a weird fart noise, and I just don't want people thinking that I'm farting the whole episode. It's not me, it's my trousers.
It is
not how I thought I'd start this episode, but I just wanted to make that clear. Because it happened just as you hit record, and I was like, oh God, they're going to think I'm farted, and we're like 2 seconds in. But it's not. It's just the trousers.
So Amy has decided to rock the leather trousers. For those who are going old school and listening, not watching, I am rocking our hoodie. I'm just saying.
Rocking it extremely well.
Yes, thank you. I've lived in it for like the past week. I should probably wash it at this point. But it's extremely cozy.
They are so cozy. They're so soft. Like this sounds like I'm now going to be like, go buy our merch. But like genuinely, they're really soft. Like for what you pay for them, it's good fucking quality. They're really comfy. Also, buy our merch.
100%. Yes. And I mean, you know, it's all well and good, me having the hoodie and Amy having the hoodie and Amy having the t-shirt and us being like, get the merch, get the hoodie, get the t-shirt, blah, blah, blah. But if anyone, this is big. If it's good enough, not only for me and Amy, but if it's good enough for Mama Brown, then I think it's probably good enough for you as well. Like if Mama Brown,
if anything, it's too good for you.
A hoodie.
So grab it before we decide to take it down because you're not worthy.
Bless her, good old mum. She's got 2 hoodies now. Like she is in the hoodie Horror House hoodie game. Bless her.
Love you, that.
Cool. So, Amy, how much do you know about Vlad the Third, Vlad the Impaler, Vlad Dracula, however we want to refer to him, whatever moniker you decide? Apart from he liked to impale people.
So, a king who likes to impale people, drink people's blood, use sharp objects. He's ticking like 5 out of 6 of my kink boxes. No, never heard of him. Yeah, I know a little bit. I know a little bit about him, but not like.
What's the box? I'm now curious what kink box he is not ticking. Is it the drinking blood? Is that where you draw a line?
No, absolutely not. That's definitely not where I draw a line. This has taken a turn. I'm revealing some kinks that my mum and dad listen to this. Sorry, mum and dad.
You don't have to. Why didn't you?
But yeah, knife play and blood play are like standard. I think. I mean, not standard to normal people, but standard to kinky people. Right?
Okay.
Oh God,
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I agree.
Have I just confessed that Vlad the Impaler makes me horny? Yes, I have. Do I regret it? Not even a little bit.
Well, there is a reason why on the teaser post we referred to him as Daddy Vladdy.
Daddy Vladdy. I've been very excited to talk about Daddy Vlad, I'm not going to lie. I am. Let's just say these leather trousers are wet clean.
Well, hopefully.
That's horrific. I'm so sorry.
To your expectation. Try not to orgasm wait until the episode has finished to do that.
I'll do my best.
At least try.
I'm not promising anything.
Let's talk about him. Let's talk about Daddy. Cool. So, Vladislav.
No. Sorry, I'm getting it all out now.
Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more.
Oh, no. I was wondering how long it was going to be before you did that.
I was going to save it, but it's been in my noggin, so I was like, I need to get this out at some point.
7 minutes in, you had to mention
it's probably going to be quite quick.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so Vlad III, the second of 4 brothers, was likely born between 1428 and 1431 in Transylvania, a rugged, lush region in modern-day Romania. And Transylvania became part of the country in 1947. His mother was Princess Nijna of Moldavia, growing up at the court of Sigismund in Luxembourg. The future Holy Roman Emperor and King of Hungary, Vlad II, his father, was an illegitimate, there we go, son of a Wallachian nobleman. Vlad III's father was accepted into the Order of the Dragon the year he was born. Sigismund, who founded this Christian military society in 1408, based it on the Crusaders of medieval times, just like most chivalric orders. And Vlad II was given the surname Dracul, or Dragon, upon entering the order. That's a pretty badass surname. I like that.
I would take that second name.
Yeah, 100%.
Sorry.
100%.
Yeah, I'm going to calm it down. I don't know what's gotten into me. But yeah.
We haven't even spoken about Vlad II yet. We're still Vlad III. We're still on his dad.
Yeah, I know. I'm just something about impaling, just gets the girl going.
Just gets it's not only Daddy Vlad.
Plus,
it's Daddy.
I'm halfway through
Vlad
a bottle of
well.
wine, so there's that.
Oh dear. So Vlad II would be appointed something called a voivode, which is a term for a local ruler or governor, especially the semi-independent rulers of Transylvania, Wallachia, or Moldova before 1700. And he was given that title by Sigismund in 1436. However, Vlad II was not loyal These hoes ain't loyal, as the saying goes. And it won't be long until he switched sides to Sultan Murad II of the Ottoman Empire. I know that so far this is becoming a bit of a history lesson. We will get to Vlad's violent tendencies, but the first part is going to be a bit of history. How did Vlad come to power? All of that jazz.
Okay.
So bear with me.
This is just the foreplay before we get into the violence.
This is the foreplay. Yeah.
It's fine. I can handle it.
We can't bust the load too early. We need to work up to it.
No one wants that.
Say. When Vlad II was called to a diplomatic meeting in 1442 with Sultan Murad, he brought his young sons Vlad III and Radu the Fair along with him. However, it turned out that the meeting was a trap, and the three were taken into custody. Do you reckon that Radu the Fair was actually really unfair, and that's just a very ironic nickname that he was given?
Yeah, like when they call someone really massive tiny as a nickname. Maybe it was like that, and he just looked like a foot. Either that, or he was genuinely like really fair, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing there's not that many pictures of him. Otherwise, we might be able to know. But I'm going to guess that it was. I don't know. Either way, if you're calling your own son, who gave him that title? That's my question. Like, was it one that he just gave himself? And he looked in the mirror and was like,
"I'm not,
honey, you Radu the Fair," and then that just stuck.
You're a very fair man, Radu. Oh God, he's talking to himself again.
Oh God, yeah. He's trying to give himself nicknames again. Just ignore him, he'll go away. Especially as Vlad is Vlad the Third as well. Like, there's nothing fancy about his name. It's just like we couldn't think of another name that your dad wasn't called, so we'll just gave you that. And then you've got Radu the Fair. Like, I think we know who's the favourite in that family.
Yeah, I give you the name Radu the Fair. What about your other kid? Vlad the Third?
Shit, I can't think of any other names other than my own. I've run out of just whatever.
Anything else? Vlad Jr.? So the elder Vlad was released under the condition. So Vlad the Second was released under the condition that he leave his sons behind. And that's what happened.
That was nice of him.
The younger, I'm off, boys.
Soz,
bye.
Gotta go.
Good luck.
I've got a dentist appointment. I'm out.
The house needs cleaning, and someone's got to do it. Your mum's not home, and well, sorry.
You'll be fine. It's only a bit of imprisonment. Calm down.
So the younger Vlad and his brother received scientific, philosophical. What the? Yeah. Philosophical.
Like
That's better. I think we should just call it philosophical.
Scientifical and philosophical. I can't even say it.
Scientifical and philosophical.
Yeah.
Scientific and philosophical. I did it again.
Philosophical.
Yeah, that word's really tripping me up, so I'm just going to move past it.
Yeah,
and artistic instruction from the Ottomans. He also developed into a proficient horseman and fighter. Some accounts, however, suggest that he may have spent some of that time in prison under torture when he would have seen his foes, the Ottomans, being impaled. And I'm sure impalement won't come back at all during this episode.
I don't think he'll ever mention it again.
No. Absolutely not. So the rest of Vlad's family would unfortunately fare much worse. Local boyars, who are sort of the local nobility, would overthrow Vlad II as ruler of Wallachia in 1447, and he was later caught and executed. Mircea II, or Mercia? I think it's Mircea. Mircea. I'm going to say that's Mircea.
Yeah, Mircea.
We'll go with that. The second, the elder brother of Vlad III, was blinded and buried alive in the same year. Ooh. It's not Yeah, it's
The
pretty brutal,
blinding
isn't
seems a bit pointless if you're going to bury someone alive.
it? Bit overkill,
Well,
isn't it?
you're just wasting time. You don't need to worry about that. Just bury him.
You know, we didn't want him to be buried alive in the pitch black, so we blinded him so he could be buried alive.
So
in
he
the
didn't
pitch
know
black.
what the lighting was like in his tomb. It's fine. Yeah, no, that just seems like a lot of extra work. If I was the blinder, I don't know what you call that person, the person that blinds the people, I'd be fucking ticked off if they then got buried alive immediately afterwards, because you've just done that. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, so why did I
Yeah,
bother?
it would be a bit annoying, wouldn't it?
Was my blinding not enough? Was that not good enough for you? They need further punishment. Fine. I mean, fuck my drag, right? I'd be a bit upset.
Yeah,
That's all
right.
I'm saying.
Just throws his hood off, and he's like, right, fine, do everything yourself. You know what? You want to bury him? Fine. You blind him as well. I'm out. I'm going home.
It's not what you said. It's how you said it.
So the regent of Hungary, János Hunyadi, I believe, who had orchestrated the murder of Vlad II, would name another nobleman from Wallachia, Vladislav II. So not Vlad II. This is a different person.
Can we just think of some different names? Come on, Romania. Let's just
it's less
else.
confusing.
It's very confusing. They did not have podcast hosts in mind when they were naming these people.
No, they don't. They don't. How
rude.
dare people in 1447 not consider that in 2023 there would be a podcast
people might be
talking about Vlad the Impaler.
So upsetting.
So yes, Vladislav II would be appointed the new voivode. So it's unclear to historians if all these separate incidents fueled Vlad III's / Vlad the Impaler's desire for vengeance, but one thing is certain. In 1447, when he was freed from Ottoman captivity, Vlad III, now using the moniker Vlad Dracula, meaning son of dragon, would begin his fight for power. I'm going to say that it probably played a part in things. Like,
maybe
he probably wasn't best pleased that his family kind of got fucked big time. So
maybe he was just really angry about the blinding then burial thing. It's so fucking pointless.
Like,
I'm going to get into power and stop this bullshit.
The blinding is wholly unnecessary. He's still seething about
I'd like to think that me and Vlad had a similar mindset, and I'm angry enough about it that I want to impale someone, and not in the fun way. So I feel like he would be too.
So at the age of 16, Vlad would travel back to Wallachia in 1448 to usurp the throne from Vladislav II, the man who had succeeded his father. He would be successful, but would only rule for a few months before the overthrown Vladislav would come back and reclaim his kingdom. Vlad Dracula would go into exile. Little is known about his next 8 years as he moved around the Ottoman Empire and Moldavia. It appears that at some point during this time, he changed sides in the Ottoman-Hungarian War and won Hungary's military backing. In a decision that precipitated a conflict between the two contenders for the Wallachian throne, Vladislav II also switched allegiances and joined the Turks. And on July the 22nd, 1456, Vlad Dracula would behead Vladislav in hand-to-hand combat on the outskirts of Targovist. That's pretty badass to behead someone in hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, but it doesn't count because he didn't blind him first.
Poor form, Vlad.
Terrible.
Poor form.
How are you supposed to know he's actually
Terrible.
dead if you haven't blinded him first? Like,
He just
pointless.
sees his head on the floor and he's just like,
Shit.
you know what? He might still be alive. I should probably have blinded him.
Fuck, he's still got eyes. I forgot again. I'm terrible at this.
No wonder my first rule only lasted a few months. God.
No wonder my dad prefers my brother.
So it would be this beheading that Vlad Dracula's second, or it would be with this beheading, sorry, that Vlad Dracula's second rather brutal, rather bloody reign would begin. But before we get to that, I think now is a good time to take a little break. Amy, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to have to compose myself before we get into his reign. So yes, it's a good time for a break.
Yeah, we'll be getting into what Vlad the Impaler is very much known for. But until then, we'll be back in a few minutes. Go and get yourself something to drink and strap in or strap on, whichever one you want to do. We'll be back soon.
Preferably both.
Preferably both. Welcome back to part 2 of today's episode, which has been far more historical than normal. Sorry if you felt like you've been having a history lesson. Hopefully it's been more interesting than the history lessons you would get at school. But hopefully. Anyway.
It's more historical than hysterical, am I right?
More historical than hysterical. But if you're like, where's the impaling? Fear not, we're going to get bloody in part 2. Amy, what are your thoughts on Daddy Vladdy so far before we go into the notorious actions?
Yeah, so far he's still bae. I'm waiting for you to convince me otherwise. And I feel like the second half is going to do that. It's either going to make me love him even more or, like, really disgust me and ruin everything I thought we had. But I'm ready either way,
Why must you destroy what we had, Vlad?
We had such a good thing, me and Vlad, back in the 15th century. It was so nice. And now, we're just ruining it on this podcast. But yeah, no, I'm very keen to hear about his exploits, whether they turn me on or not.
Well, if it helps, if you look at him in like today's eyes, he would be a war criminal. I don't know if that makes you feel any different, but if the Nuremberg trials
should turn me off, and yet somehow no. No, obviously that's bad. Obviously, I don't want to get involved with a war criminal. That's terrible. I don't know where to take that, to be honest. I feel like saying you don't want to get involved with a war criminal isn't something that needs to be said, and yet here I am having to justify it.
And yeah,
so yeah,
you're like, I'm gonna specify just for people that are curious.
Oh God, I'm gonna have war criminals in my inbox. Oh Lord.
Oh dear. Hopefully not. Your DMs are bad enough. You don't need those in there as well.
I do not need another instrument of impalement in my inbox. Believe me.
So the ongoing Ottoman-Hungarian War and the internal struggle had devastated Wallachia. Fields were left fallow, trade had stopped, and anarchy had taken over the region. With a zero-tolerance attitude for even small infractions, Vlad the Third / Vlad Dracula launched a harsh crackdown on crime at the start of his rule. He personally selected commoners, even foreigners, for public office in an attempt to establish bureaucrats who were entirely reliant on him, so solidifying his hold on power. As voivode, he could appoint, dismiss, and execute his new officials at will. Vlad also devised a plan of retaliation for the boyars, who were the powerful individuals who had murdered his father and elder brother. Along with their families, he invited 200 of them to a lavish Easter feast in 1459. His men would surround the boyars, women and children included. They would make them work on reconstructing Ponieri Castle until their clothing was essentially rags, and then he would impale them in the courtyard of his newly constructed palace. The lesson we can take from that is don't fuck around with Vlad.
That was a lot to take in, wasn't it? Just all of that, all in one go.
Yeah.
What did the women and well, maybe the women, but the children? What did the children do? They're just trying to help you build your castle. You can't impale a child. What size stake did you use? Is it smaller? I have so many questions.
I mean, I'm assuming you just used the standard one, and it's just this fucking massive
pointless.
one.
Maybe you could do like two kids on one standard adult size steak. This isn't where my head should be.
I love how this is like, well, like this kebab skewer of children. How many could he fit?
I feel like it's a good question. And if anyone would know the answer, Daddy Vlad would know the answer. You know, he'd get it. He understands efficiency. He knows the point that you don't need to blind someone before you kill them. None of these people on stakes were blind. They were just impaled. And that is why Daddy Vlad is efficient.
I love how like that was a lot in one. And to that I say, well, if you love that, then you're gonna love what's coming up. Because he doesn't get any kinder, let's just say. So while Vlad's domestic policies were not always benevolent.
Thank
you.
Got it. You're welcome.
Thank you. That doesn't mean he wasn't willing to deal out the same brutality to his own people as he did to his enemies. He would either force the Romanes to enlist in the army or eliminate them, for lack of a better word. When the German people refused to pay the high taxes he placed on them, he would stop trading. But the most glaring example of his contempt towards others was his method to get rid of homeless people and beggars, whom he viewed as thieves, but also the sick and the vagabonds. To do this, he invited a large number of these people to a feast, and unfortunately the poor bastards had no idea what would follow, and that would be Vlad locking the doors and burning them all alive. Yikes.
That's hot. No, it's not. That was a joke. Because of fire. That was the joke. Just a joke. I'm not turned on by people burning alive. Oh, that's bad. That's not impaling at all.
Yeah, that's brutal.
I can't even make a sexy joke about that. That's horrible.
And
why? Why did he just not like them?
Well, he viewed homeless people and beggars as thieves.
Oh, well, that's
I'm not sure.
Wasn't it?
I'm not sure if that's a fair categorization. And I guess he just didn't like sick people or vagabonds very much. I mean, what I take from that is the absolute cheek to be homeless when Vlad is the king. The
or
absolute cheek.
Like, I don't particularly like being around sick people, but I'm not going to go torch a hospital. It's not really my problem. They're going to deal with it. Just keep them away from me. It just seems a bit over the top. It's a bit dramatic, isn't it?
A little bit. Just a tad. Just a tad. Oh, Vladdy. But if you thought that was fun,
God.
You've
said that so many times now. I'm just like, Christ, what's coming? He's just torched a building full of people that didn't deserve it. Now what?
Um, well, Amy, in addition, he would have strong puritanical inclination and was notorious for punishing people of any age, gender, or social class for a wide range of offences.
That's very
An
inclusive.
example of this, it is inclusive. He is a equal opportunity
Daddy.
punisher.
Oh God. Sorry, I will
He's
stop
an equal
eventually.
opportunity daddy.
Yeah, that's what we like.
So, as a perfect demonstration of this, according to one legend, which may or may not be true, he would mutilate unfaithful women and display their bodies in public, quote, until the flesh fell from the body and the bones detached themselves from their sockets as a form of punishment.
Good feelings gone.
The feeling is, yeah, it's gone. The hope is gone. Daddy Vlad had his chance and it's sailed away.
Oh, so that just sounds messy. Like, it's not quick, is it? Until the flesh rots from their body. That's going to take ages.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, the dog
They're
is
going to be up there for a while. I can hear him through my headphones as well. He's not happy with Vlad.
I don't even know what he's barking.
He's not.
Maybe Vlad's at the door.
Maybe. So, as we know, impalement was Vlad's preferred form of punishment. That was his go-to move. And
Finisher.
this would
By Mortal Kombat.
Finish
him.
Finish him. So, as said, impalement was his preferred form of punishment. This was usually done through the anus. According to prints of these incidents, it wasn't just the anus. Some of people were impaled through their heart, navel, stomach, or chest. He liked to change it up a little bit. My arsehole.
That feels like a metaphor,
clenched.
you know? Like, if he hated you, he's going to do it through the anus. But if he loved you, he'd do it through the heart.
Maybe.
No, wait. How have I made that cute?
I don't know. All I know is my arsehole clenched when I read through the anus. That didn't feel good.
Yeah, so did mine, but in a fun way.
Mine
Can't
was.
believe I just said that.
Yeah, don't do that in a non-fun way.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know there was more than one way to impale someone, though, to be honest. Like, this might be indicative of who I am as a person, but I thought it was always through the anus. So,
no,
I've learned something.
I suppose, you know, a lot of places, if you're really dedicated to impaling someone, you could probably do it.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like, when you think of impalement, the first method you would go to is probably through the anus first.
Exactly. As soon as I think impalement, my brain goes straight to me. Like, I mean, anus. That's all I think about. And I don't think I'm the only one. I don't think that's just me. So, but
No,
yeah, through the heart
I don't
sounds...
think so.
I don't know if it sounds worse, to be honest. I feel like you would die faster if you did it through the heart.
Yeah, you probably would. I can imagine being impaled through the anus is a very slow, very painful way to go. As I said, impalement was what Vlad would become known for. But variety was important to Vlad. It is the spice of life after all. So he would branch out into other methods of punishment. These would include, but not be limited to, decapitation, cutting off noses, ears, sexual organs and limbs, blinding, strangling, hanging, burning, boiling, skinning, roasting, hacking, nailing, burying alive and stabbing, as well as exposure, being left with wild animals, and dropping people through conveniently built trapdoors onto stakes below. So he had many, many ways. It wasn't just impalement.
Sounds like my Friday night, am I right?
A little bit of burning and boiling.
Yeah, being dropped onto stakes.
Being
Left
dropped
out
onto
for the
stakes.
animals. You know, it's ticking all my boxes. No, that's a lot.
No,
I
I know. It's
I don't think I'm shocked by any of them, but you do just kind of assume that if you're going to be Vlad the Impaler, then you impale, and that's what you do. You know, like commit to something.
yeah. I also, I love that. Like part one was just pretty calm. We're just doing, and now it is just
It's off the
part two
chain.
is just dialed up to. Like, it's just gone out of nowhere. It's just like whoop.
This is like any good horror movie. Like the
Yeah,
first half, you're just being.
yeah.
If you've seen the first Paranormal Activity, the only one that's really worth watching, to be honest. Then it's all calm, it's all quiet, and then in the last half an hour, you just suddenly get all of this paranormal shit that is terrifying. That's basically what this episode is. Everyone's calm, everyone's chill, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're decapitated. Yes, I added an extra cap into cap. You're decapitated. Your kappa is detated. Yeah.
I'm never going to say decapitated again. Every time it's always going to be your kappa has been.
I can't take credit for that. That one's fully from the US office, but
Oh
yeah.
dear, I've never heard that before in my life. That's hilarious.
Boom, his kappa was detated. But yeah, we have definitely ramped it up in the second half. But I like it. I do like it. And that's a lot of variety. It's nice to have variety, you know, especially when it comes to killing people. Not that I would know.
You know, he probably was like, you know what? Impaling's cool and all, but I can't do this every time. And it's getting a bit annoying. So you know what? I'm going to throw in some roasting and some fucking nailing and some hacking, you know, just to liven it up a little bit.
Yeah. Do you reckon he had like a council, like of people? He just called into a meeting and was like, look, I know that I'm Vlad the Impaler. Everyone knows I'm Vlad the Impaler. That's what I'm here for. You know, I'm doing great, but I want to branch out. What do you guys think? Come on, talk to me. Give me some other forms of death that you find entertaining that I can encourage. And they're all like, no, you have to impale. You're Vlad the Impaler. You must impale. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm going to decapitate and I'm going to do some nailing. And we're going to see how it goes, okay? We're just going to see what happens. And then they were just
trial
like,
period.
I mean, I don't want to get impaled, so I guess we're going to have to just let you.
Do you think, like, they had, like, pie charts and flipboards and PowerPoint presentations and all this stuff, like, proper, like, going into
Venn
the
diagrams.
intricacies?
Yeah.
Made speeches and everything.
There's Vlad the Impaler, and then the middle bit is just Vlad the Impaler. And it's really important that we focus on that middle section.
So, there's also a Russian tale recounting an incident in which one of Vlad's mistresses pretended to be pregnant. As this is Vlad, he took this surprisingly well by having her cut open from womb to breasts, remarking, quote, "Let all the world see where I have been." Vlad's a bit of a sick fuck. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wait, what? So was she pregnant or no?
No, she pretended.
She just pretended. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's justified in what he's doing, but don't pretend you're pregnant.
Yeah. Like, yeah, don't pretend you're pregnant. It's like, that's such a shitty thing to do. But at the same time, it probably doesn't warrant being cut open from your womb to your tits.
No.
That's a bit of a... That's a reaction. 100%.
Also, what's the best case scenario there? He cuts her open and there is a baby? Then what?
Yeah. Who knows with Vlad? Who knows? He probably just did it for shits and giggles.
That's a risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah. So, in the ensuing years, Vlad would impale thousands more people and destroyed entire Saxon villages. In 1459, when the Transylvanian Saxon city of Kronstadt, which is today Brasov, supported a rival of Vlad III's. The ruler's response, as one would come to expect, was just a little bit savage. He first imposed trade restrictions on Saxon goods into Wallachia. He would then go on to impale 30,000 people, reportedly eating dinner among them, so he could see firsthand the agony that they endured. And just to top it all off, just in case impaling 30,000 people wasn't enough of a message, he would then order the complete destruction of Kronstadt, just to top it off and say, don't mess with me, I guess.
That's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many people does the average stadium hold?
Wembley's like
Capacity.
80 something, I think. 80,000.
Oh, it's 90. Okay. That's a third of
90.
Wembley Stadium that he's just impaled.
Yeah.
I mean, not just.
I don't know what the
We're talking
population.
hundreds of years ago, but Christ, that
Yeah.
seems dramatic. Also, how big are
It's just a
towns
bit
in this day and age? Like, if he's impaled 30,000 people, is there much left to destroy? Surely not.
Probably not. Maybe he impaled the entire population and then just thought, just burn the town down as well.
I mean,
Burn
they
it
don't
down.
need it anymore, so
It just
that's a lot of
seems
stakes. Like, just
entirely
logistically, this
unnecessary.
is a nightmare.
Yeah. Where is he getting these stakes from? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Has he got
He's
a
single-handedly
steak dealer?
responsible for
Like-
deforestation. Just stop impaling. You're destroying the planet.
Yeah. See, Vlad is the cause of climate change. It's just not been. It's just not happened until now. Like Vlad is the root cause of climate change. So yeah, and that was because they supported a rival of his, and he was just like, fine, impale everyone, burn down the town, fuck you.
Yeah. It's a bit extreme, isn't it? That's like the
It's a
equivalent
little bit.
nowadays of someone being like in a relationship on Facebook and then they like another girl's picture. So that girl's just like, burn down their town. Actually, to be fair, that does sound like me.
Don't mess with Amy. You will not like her when she's a woman scorned.
But even I can't get hold of that
Yeah.
many stakes, so don't worry too much.
She'll
like
probably
the
get
environment.
like a good handful of you, but probably not 30,000.
I just get bored easy. Like, once you've empowered one person, it's like, move on.
It's true. And it's probably a lot of effort to do one person. I can't imagine 30,000.
Yeah, I wonder how many people it took to impale 30,000 people. And also, if you've done like maybe 1,000 and the rest of the people are like, oh shit, that's a lot of people that he's impaling, run away. Like, they can't get all of you. Just leave. Why are they making more
Zigzag and
stakes?
you'll
I think
be
I'll
fine.
stick around to find out. No, get the fuck out. Don't wait for your turn. Unless it's one of those situations where it's like they've joined a queue, but no one's really sure what they're queuing for.
Like, one person
What is
was
this queue
queuing
for?
and then the
I
rest
don't know,
were
let's
like,
just wait.
you know what? That looks like fun. What are you queuing for? I don't know. Okay, we'll join in and we'll have a little convo having that. Do you
And
reckon
then you get
like
to the front and they've got those little rope barriers so you can't even get out. So you're just like, fuck, I'm going to have to get impaled now. Brilliant.
they're like, there's too many switchbacks. I can't get out of this queue. We're fucked. Sorry, lads.
I don't understand.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. It's the logistics that upset me.
Yeah. Do you reckon like there were people like one day being like, there's like 10 less trees in the forest than there was yesterday. Should we go? No, it's
Should we
fine.
leave?
Should we leave?
There's so many stakes around and I'm not really sure why. Let's calculate the number of stakes, the number of people in the town, and work out if we're going to be impaled. Oh, the answer's yes. Time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very confusing. I'm not sure how he got that many people impaled is quite confusing.
Who knows? Who knows?
And they don't call him Vlad the Impaler. That's his
exactly. That is his thing. So
it's his whole bit.
Although Vlad continued to identify himself with the prestigious Order of the Dragon, these incidents would contribute to him gaining the moniker we all know and love today, the Impaler, hence Vlad the Impaler. The more you know.
Born.
The legend was born. However, it wasn't just the Saxon community that he took quite liking in tormenting. With the assistance of many of his people who felt discriminated against as Orthodox Christians in Transylvania by Hungarians and Saxon Catholics, Vlad would launch multiple deadly campaigns on Catholic villages. Prior to their surrender in 1460, several cities would be targeted, including Cebu, Tara Basay, Amlas, and Figuera. I think I've probably butchered most of those. Maybe I got one of those right. Who knows? I'm not Romanian. Sorry.
No.
Pope Pius II learned of these retaliations and in 1462 published a report in which he claimed that Vlad had slaughtered some 40,000 people. Hence why he would probably be classed as a war criminal today.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's not as many as Hitler.
It's not.
I don't know why I made that statement, to be honest. I don't know what I'm trying to prove.
Vlad's bad. Vlad's bad, but remember, he's not as bad as Hitler.
Also, like Mussolini, and yeah. There's. I don't know why I'm defending him. He's a bad guy, but in terms of
he is a bad guy.
War criminals, not the worst.
Though saying that, I'm assuming that 40,000 people was just in those villages. That's probably not in total so far. That was probably just in those 5 places.
Yeah, I wonder if do we have a full death count for Vlad the Impaler or no? Probably difficult.
I think 60,000 people is a figure that gets thrown about as a sort of total death count.
I mean, this is before social media, which shouldn't be relevant, but somehow feels relevant. That's a lot of people to kill.
It is a lot.
Although Hitler did more without social media. I don't know the point that I'm trying to make. We should move on.
I don't know either.
I'm getting confused with war criminals and death.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah. Oh, well, at least Hitler will be happy that you got a name drop in Horror House. Vlad III employed extremely ruthless measures against the Turks, who obviously he didn't particularly like, both on and off the battlefield. Mehmed II sent an embassy to Vlad in 1459, seeking 300 young boys and 10,000 ducats. Ducats are gold coins. I'm assuming that's the currency, as tribute. So the 10,000 ducats as tribute.
You've just made... What was his name? Who sent for those?
Mehmed II.
Mehmed II. Sounds a bit Jimmy Savile with all the young boys and gold, but sure.
Yes. The gold I can get, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm quite concerned that he's seeking... Yeah, so I'm quite concerned that he's seeking 300 young boys.
I mean, realistically, it's to train them for battle so that when they become men, they're soldiers.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it is.
I don't know.
It just sounds...
That's best case scenario.
Really bad. It sounds horrendous, doesn't it? So when the diplomats would refuse to remove their turbans, citing religious custom, Vlad would take their devotion in good stride by nailing their hats to their heads.
That's not funny. Why am I laughing? That is
It's
not
not.
funny. That's bad.
It's not.
Also, wasn't the I'm
But
sure the picture that you used for Teaser Tuesday, it was him in a turban. So what's his fucking issue?
I
Fuck
don't
off,
know.
Vlad. What? They look better in a turban than you?
I just,
Piss off.
yeah. And I don't know why I chuckled. I think I just giggled because I was just picturing being like, Vlad being like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. No problem. No worries. And then he's just gets a fucking hammer and he's just like, "Boop." Okay,
what
cool.
difference
Don't
does
worry
it
about
make?
taking off your turban.
Like, why are you so offended by
know.
someone wearing a turban that you're going to the extent that you're going to hammer it to their head? That's just weird. What a weird thing to take such an extreme stance on.
So, Mehmed II, or Mehmed II, he wasn't exactly over the moon with this development. So, with an army of 90,000 men, he would proceed to Wallachia in the spring of 1462. Following guerrilla warfare and a string of attacks in the night, Vlad would turn to his signature strategy, which obviously would result in the impalement of over 23,000 prisoners, along with their families, and then being displayed outside the city of Targovist, which sat along the enemy's route. Which is it's awful because he impaled 23,000 people, but at the same time I'm like, that's kind of badass that you've presented them along the route that they're going to be marching on.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a bit sick from me, but it just seems a bit Game of Thronesy.
I don't know if cool is the word. I don't know if that's the word I would have picked. It sort of feels similar to when you're driving along like the M4 and you see a really good services.
Yeah.
In this case, you're marching along your chosen route and you see a really good impaling. That's fun, isn't it? I mean, you're not going to be able to pick up a great steak bake, but, it's still nice.
Remember, guys, just going along a route and seeing people impaled is the same as going along a motorway and seeing Clackett Lane services come up. The same feeling.
Well, now that you've said it out loud, you make me feel a bit weird. But I'd be excited either way.
I'm only messing. I'm excited. I am excited to see a service station. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm like, damn.
Services.
Mackey's.
You get good services. You're basically there. Yeah, great.
Exactly.
Especially if it's got a Greggs, an M&S, and some sort of like.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with either a McDonald's or a KFC. Like that's the holy trinity of services. Yeah. And then clean toilets, obviously. I'm not sure how I got
here. if you come to a really good one, it's got a Burger King as well.
Yes.
Or it's got all three. It's got McDonald's, KFC, and Burger King.
Yeah, that's a good.
Like,
although apparently there is like a services in the UK that includes like a Nando's and a Wetherspoon.
What?
I know.
That's
I read
insane.
about it because obviously research and services is something I do a lot. But I read about it and I was like, wait, who's stopping at a services for long enough to have a Nando's? And you can't get pissed. Like the whole point of going to Wetherspoons is cheap drinks, right? Like you get a £2 pint. Yeah. Or you used to. Yeah. I'm maybe showing my age a bit there. But you used to get a £2 pint. You can't do that if you're then going to carry on driving. So what's the point of a fucking Wetherspoons?
No, that is true. That is very true. Also, listeners, if you're wondering what Amy does in her spare time, it is researching motorway service stations.
I just really like services. That's not a crime, as far as I'm aware.
It's not. It is not.
But yeah,
it is not.
I'm not sure how I'd feel seeing impaled people along my service route. I mean, in this day and age, not great. Obviously, it's a lot of paperwork to fill out with the police.
Yeah.
But back then, I feel like people would be more used to it. Like in my head, I'm thinking, hang on. So does this like become a tourist attraction? Do people just go and visit the impaled people after that? Because they're there for a while. So Do you just pop along, take the kids, maybe a picnic? Or is it just,
Take
it's a one and done kind of thing?
a
They
selfie.
just take them down. Oh, that'd be a great selfie.
Take a selfie. Caption, just hanging out.
I often think that about... Why am I saying this? I'm going to go with it. I often think about whether, if the crucifixion happened in this day and age, would people take selfies with Jesus? And the answer is yes. I definitely would.
Absolutely.
I would.
Yeah. The
JC,
hits that you would get on Instagram, like, holy crap. Yeah.
Go viral overnight.
Damn, that would pop off. Yeah,
Either that, or it would
exactly.
become like, when people take pictures at the Leaning Tower of Pisa where they're holding it, they're doing this thing. It would just get boring. So, like, right, you were at the crucifixion, big fucking work. No one cares. It would be like the equivalent of going to see Taylor Swift. It's just not. It's not that interesting, really.
You were there last week, Dave. No one gives a shit.
I mean, it's cool that you were there, but we don't need to keep hearing about it. Like, it's over. He came back 3 days later anyway. Fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've really strayed from the path of Vlad here. I apologise.
Oh, no, it's all good. But yeah, Vlad decided to... I mean, I kind of get what he was doing. I suppose it's a good intimidation tactic to use, I guess.
I mean, if that's where you're heading and there's gradually becoming more and more impaled people as you get closer, you're going to want to think about turning.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Maybe.
So Mehmed, partly deciding that anyone willing to go to such lengths to save his kingdom probably deserved to keep it. And as we said, he was probably pretty horrified by the forest of the dead that he would be faced with, would decide, you know what? I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go right back to Constantinople. And to be fair, I probably would too, to be honest.
Yeah. I think seeing that, you potentially forget why you were going in the first place. And you're just like, oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure this isn't worth it. Let's just go home.
Yeah. I'd be like, you know what, Vlads? Message received. I'm going back.
Just surrounded by all these impaled people, and you're like, yeah, well played. I'm going to go home. Yeah. See you later, dude. You enjoy whatever this is.
Oh, dear. So, all good things must come to an end, and Vlad the Impaler would not hold on to power forever, and his brutal reign would end in 1462, when Hungarian forces would take him prisoner. Vlad spent 12 years in prison in Hungary, while Wallachia saw multiple transfers of power. In 1475, Vlad was dispatched by Matthias I to retake Wallachia for Hungary. He won his first battle in November 1476. However, he was pretty brutally defeated a month later. Legend has it that he shared the same fate as his former enemy, Vladislav II. According to the legend, Vlad the Impaler was beheaded in combat, and after his head was marched back to Constantinople, it would be placed in the hands of his enemy, Sultan Mehmed II, and it would be displayed over the city's gates. As a bit of a final fuck you, I suppose, to Vlad on that one.
Yeah. My brain really doesn't work in a normal way, because my first thought as soon as you said that was, so he's handed him this head that has been severed from its body for at least a week, maybe more, and has not been presumably kept refrigerated and or on ice or preserved in any way. So he's just given this bloke like this gammy head. I mean, ugh, gross. Thanks.
Yeah.
Like, just stick it in the wheelie bin and pop it out on Thursday, No.
Yeah.
But actually, yeah, that sent quite a message. If you're, pinning it above the city, that's not ideal.
Yeah. And I mean, it is a good question. Like, what was the state of their head when it got to Sultan Mehmed? Like, I'm
Exactly. Even
curious.
if you recognise it as a head and you're not completely disgusted, you're looking at it like, who the fuck is this? And
Yeah.
what's your point?
Mehmed was like, "Did you not put it in rice?" And that's like, "No." And he's like, "Well, I told you to put it in rice."
Everyone knows that if you put it in rice, then the charger will work.
Oh dear. So for someone as brutal as Vlad the Impaler, this was quite a morbidly fitting end to his life and to his rule. But that's not the end of our tale, because as we mentioned, Vlad the Impaler was, at least in part, an inspiration for a certain villain in a certain novel. So how much did the real Vlad Dracula inspire Bram Stoker's villain? Well, the answer might lie within the gory tales of the bloodthirsty ruler's exploits. As stated earlier, according to one legend, Vlad the Impaler enjoyed dipping his bread in the blood of his victims. But the authenticity of that account has never been verified. There is a story of him conducting a winter raid in which he set fire to an entire Transylvanian suburb, impaled captives, and then watched as his troops severed the victims' limbs as he sat and dined. Here, we are told that he, quote, dipped his bread in the blood of his victims. Following his death, best-selling booklets propagating his reputation would include this supposed factual account of blood drinking. Vlad's inventive and almost artistic excesses of cruelty were so extreme that soon drinking blood had become part of the popular myth and legend surrounding Vlad. So it's never been verified that he drank blood. It's probably a safe bet to say that that was something that was added to his legend over time. I might be wrong. He might have dipped bread in blood, but it's never been confirmed that is true.
Yeah, just like it will never be confirmed that I do.
Exactly. Vlad's inventive. Oh no, I've already done that bullet point. So although count,
there, you're fine.
I know, right? It got me all out of sorts. Although Count Dracula and Vlad the Impaler do share some similarities, they share a name, for example, and both lived in towering castles in Eastern Europe. There are also notable distinctions between the two. Transylvania is home to Stoker's Dracula, but Vlad the Impaler would never reside in Transylvania. Quote, Dracula is linked to Transylvania, but the real historic Dracula, Vlad III, never owned anything in Transylvania, states Florin Curta, a professor of medieval history and archaeology at the University of Florida. Places associated with the Dracula legend are popular destinations. Some are connected to Vlad III, such as Poneri Castle in Romania, which served as a significant fortress for the ruler. Other places, such as Romania's Bram Castle, sometimes referred to as Castle Dracula, have no connection to the brutal ruler. As stated earlier, as downright terrifying as Vlad the Impaler was, there is also no concrete proof that he did partake in the drinking of blood. So, while aspects of the life of Vlad the Impaler or Vlad Dracula might likely have been embellished over the centuries, and there are notable distinctions between Vlad and Stoker's Count Dracula, the true history of the brutal ruler may just be more horrifying than a work of fiction could ever be. And that is our episode on Vlad the Impaler. So, is he still Daddy Vlad, Amy? Is he not Daddy Vlad anymore?
I'm conflicted.
Okay.
No,
Why are
obviously
you conflicted?
it's terrible, everything that he did. It's definitely a lot more than I thought as well. Like, I didn't realize it was as many as 40 to 60,000. That's insane. But also the other
Yeah.
stuff, like the burning
Yeah.
of the what, I don't know if it was a church or whatever, but with all those
The
people
homeless
inside, it's
people and
fucking,
the poor people and
yeah, that's horrific. That's really
yeah.
bad. And then just all of the other stuff that he did. I just don't know if I can commit to someone that would do those sorts of things, Plus the fact that he's been dead for like 600 years also doesn't help. So yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
He'll always be Daddy Vlad,
Yeah.
but just not in the way that I'd hope.
You're not gonna be like one of those people that's like, he's a bad boy, but I can change him. I can change him. I can mold him to a vision.
No, I've fallen into that trap before and it don't fucking work, ladies. So leave it be. No, it's not going to be one of those situations. Again, been dead for 600 years, so really difficult to change him at this point.
Yeah.
Also, I think the addiction to him impaling people is just a bit bigger than me and what I can do. So no.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot there that I didn't know. I thought I knew quite a bit, and then all of a sudden there's just all this extra stuff that I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, I never knew that there was even a rumor that he drank blood. I knew that he was potentially some of the inspiration for Dracula, but not because of that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was because of his sort of title in Romania and just like the person that he was.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was because there was a rumor that he drank blood. But there's a lot of those. Like, I think a lot of I want to say the most violent rulers, there's rumors that they do stuff like of cannibalism and of drinking blood in a lot of cases because it helps them absorb the power of their enemies. So it doesn't surprise me that those rumors exist. Whether or not they're true is part of me thinks there's maybe a no smoke without fire type thing to it.
Yeah.
In that maybe he did do something, but it wasn't extreme. But then he's a pretty extreme guy, so who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But no, safe to say
yeah, exactly.
He'll always be Daddy Vlad, but he'll never be just Daddy.
That is true. And like you said, you would always be number 2 to impaling. Impaling would always be number 1.
That's not the life I'm about. I need to be number 1 in people's lives. So I can't be number 2 to anything.
But yeah, I also wasn't aware of the extent of this guy's just absolute depravity.
Yeah.
I knew that obviously he impaled people. I think everyone knows that. But
clues in the name.
I had no idea about any of this other stuff. Setting people on, like burning people alive. If the Russian tale is true, that is.
Yeah.
Woof. Yeah. So he's an interesting person, no doubt, but I definitely wouldn't have wanted to be alive when he was ruling, because that would have been not a good time.
No.
Not a good time.
Especially
knowing
what he did to all of those naughty ladies. That's not about that life.
Yeah.
Exactly. He would have fucking hated me. So no.
Cool. So all that's left to do is see us out. Amy, would you like to see us out this week?
I'd absolutely love to, as always. Thank you for listening to that episode, and Dom, thank you for telling us all about Daddy Vlad and his exploits, which are in no way as sexy as I thought they previously were. If you like what we do here and want to support us, then you can do so in many, many ways. But one of the ways is to buy some merch. Dom is currently modelling it. Dom, model it. quick for the YouTubers. That was... Okay. Dom's not a model, but...
I'm not. No.
They are very nice. It's very good merch. It's very good stuff. I believe still 50% off and still free shipping until the new year. So get over there, get yourself a treat. You can also use our Buy Me a Coffee link, which I am not going to explain because we've done it to death. But if you do want to send us a little bit of a treat, then feel free to use it. You can also like us on socials, follow us on socials, message us, leave a review, ask us something in the Q&A on Spotify. All of the things that we say at the end of every episode, you can still do all of those, shockingly enough. They're all still there and available. And they all support us,
Yes.
and we always appreciate it. So please, feel free to use them. Next week, we are going to be doing a little episode that I've quite been looking forward to. Isn't a million miles away from what we've covered today.
Ooh.
Only in topic, not in timeline. But I guess you'll have to wait to find out until then. But until that next episode, thank you for joining us. And as always, stay spooky.
Stay spooky, people. And don't impale people. Don't be like Vlad. Just stay spooky.
Yeah. I mean, you can impale people, just make it fun.
Just
Not
make it
pointy.
fun. A
I
fun
think
impalement.
the pointiness of the stick is really key here.
Yes.
And not through the
Yes.
heart as well.
100%.
I didn't realise that was a thing.
No. Try and use maybe not the sharpest stick in the world, especially if you're going through the anus.
Poor
Oh dear.